Make sure this volume is all the way up. So anyway, that funky order that I got from eBay on those fake muckluck boots. There's the box. They sent me a label thing to print out, and I couldn't get it to print out for like the last 2 hours. I did like 30 of them, and went down to the post, took another package to ship out. Was going to try to print the label with this QR code on the machine, um, and the machine had no paper in it, so it couldn't do that. I'm like, oh. So then I came back, tried again to print it, run about 6 of them, finally got that label to print, and to print right, because it wouldn't scan, it's supposed. And so, yeah, got it shipped out tomorrow. I was hoping to have it go out today because it takes so much time to do a return, um, for the shipping time, and then, for it to be processed and all that. It just takes forever. But, eBay guaranteed me that, um, I would get full refund because I was mad because I didn't want to pay like $15, $16 to ship it back. Even though they put it in that little tiny box, they smash these things flat like a pancake. And they're muckluck boots. And I mean, it's just ridiculous how they pack that. But anyway, um, I'd ordered and I got it in just like a few days. Um, but the ad said like no returns, and the item was new without box. Uh, and they checked off the box that says there's no imperfections or flaws of any kind. Da 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 da. Well, in the pictures, it had a picture of a little bitty price tag. Well, once I got them, that price tag, I run it through the internet and it goes to Burlington. So, and I contacted Burlington. The price tag says 300, and they like clipped it off. And a lot of those kind of places, they will have like a price tag on there that says this item retails for $100, and then they have a price on it like for 10. And it's because they're trying to get rid of old stock, old dead stock. That's what it is. Um, it's just like that Five and Under store, or Dollar Tree. Same thing. They buy that stuff for 10 cents on the dollar, and they sell it and make really good money. So anytime that you can get more than keystoning, which let's see, I think years ago it was like 7 times the price is how you keystone clothes, and this is far greater than that. But anyway, so uh, it had that chopped up Burlington price tag stuck to it. Anybody can buy a tagging gun. Anybody can tag. And so I don't know if the seller put that on there or they came like that and he got them in an auction or something. Because it says they do estate sale purchases. It could have been a closeout store or storage unit or whatever, and they had all that stuff, and they were probably selling it at the flea market, whatever. Um, but stuff like this, you don't want to sell this on the internet for sure because it can be tracked. And they'll track it down to you if you're selling it, even if you don't know that it's a fake. And then they'll track it down to whoever's producing these items. I'm pretty convinced it's a fake. That it's a copy, and a real bad one too. But anyway, so it had that strange Burlington price tag on it, and Burlington doesn't stock this item. Um, they smashed it flat like pancakes, the two boots, into a little tiny box, that one you're seeing right there, and it's like uh, 4 inches by like 12 inches by like 8. And it's like, why on earth would you do that? Um, and these are like, big, fluffy muckluck boots with pom poms on them and fur and all that. They're big stovepipe boots. Um, and then they put plastic grocery bag, used plastic grocery bag on each boot, which only covers it about halfway. And the seller claimed they tried to protect it. I said, you don't put plastic on fur. If it's real fur, never put plastic over fur. Years ago, people used to keep their fur coats in the closet with dry cleaner bags on them, thinking it keep them nice. It ruins them. Furs cannot handle suffocation. And they love the rain, the snow. They love to get wet. They love the cold, and that's what keeps furs alive after they've been stripped off an animal. Is all those effects of the weather. Just like cows and all that, when they're alive, they love to be in that snow and that cold. They're not like little tiny dogs and little bitty kitty cats that you got to bring in the house sometimes when the weather gets bad. These animals are used to that. Just like fur coats, they, they like that. Don't suffocate them in plastic bags. The Muckluck UK website on the little fold out tag that I showed in the previous vlogs last night. I don't know if somebody made those up, um, like the seller, or if it was whoever made those boots, because that's completely fake. And I showed that on the vlog last night. Um, and it says Muckluck UK. It's a website, and I looked it up on the internet. There's no previous or currently existing business named that. And then it says this boot is made in Canada, and Canada is not part of the UK. The UK is Great Britain, like England. Canada is not part of the UK, so it's bogus all the way around. And if you'll notice, a lot of times if you get scam texts or emails and they come from like the Orient, they can't spell, and they get things all goofed up. Even if you buy from any of those sites, that are Oriental based, like from Shenzhen, China, and stuff like that, they're using somebody to translate their stuff, and the translations are really bad. They make no sense. Well, this is kind of like that tag. Just like on that tag, it had some lines on it where it said, "This is a certificate of authenticity," and it said, signature for seller representative, and then the date and all that, and nothing was signed or filled out. And it looked real faded. It had like pink lettering on parts of it, and it was like looked really old. And then it had handwritten a size on it, and that was just really strange. Um, Now they were advertised as suede, and I knew they copied the ad from the previous one they listed. They had one other boot listed that was suede. And So they copied the ad and didn't change the details in it well. But when I looked at the pictures, I could tell it was a grained leather like the ones that I originally had. And I said, these will be perfect. And so, that's why I ordered them. I bet I sure wouldn't order white suede, that's for sure. But anyway, it was pretty disappointing. The problem is they were advertised as suede, leather, sheepskin, shearling, and lambskin. And they weren't all that. The leather is, a glossy, grainy finish looking thing, but it's plastic coated foam. Yes, I noticed that after I did that vlog last night. I was like, no. And so it's a plastic boot. And for the money I paid, I don't want to eat a plastic boot. No way, no how. Um, and it's not shearling lining inside, um, because I started pulling it apart, the so-called um, pelt, and looking to see if there was skin behind the hairs, and there wasn't. There was uh, like a fabric backing kind of thing. And so anyway, I said, well, that's not shearling. Uh, so um, then uh, that that fabric inside is actually like a Sherpa, and you know how that's going to be if you were to wear that boot for very long at all. It'd just be all matted up, and it would be nothing. Um, and it'd be horrible to have to try to clean that. Um, the rabbit fur does look real. It looks like a skin behind it. But it's not a real good rabbit fur because the original muckluck boots from Manitoba, which I think they've tried to copy them, have a longer hair rabbit because I had those boots. So. And then the inside smells real foul. I mean, beyond foul. It's like somewhere between, like, moldy to animal, um, like dead animal or something. It's just really potent. I mean, seriously potent. And then it was real gray looking, like it had been through a fire or smoke or something. If you like, if you have a fire in your house, everything gets covered in smoke, and it takes so much to clean it up, and that's what it looked like on the inside of those boots, which is strange. Um, they just like absorb the smoke, unless that was black mold in there. Um, the soles are real dirty. There was like lots of hairs on there that weren't rabbit hairs, so they were probably like rodent hairs, I guess. They were like all like half inch long, you know, a lot of them, and a lot of I don't know what that was on the bottom of them. They didn't look like really worn down soles because they're gum soles. So, they'll wear down fast. But the only thing is that there was all this little white specks in there, you know. Um, and so that was real strange. So I couldn't really decide if somebody had worn them like for a day or they were just in a really trashy place. The ad did state that they got those boots out of a box, a whole box of boots. Like that was really important to be putting in the ad. I don't know. And at first, I mean, the stains on it and stuff, I thought, well, Jesus, maybe it rained on that big box and all the colors were bleeding through onto those white boots or something. But I'm thinking not. Um, there was a lot of the orange and bright yellow stains on the outside of the boots. Um, like a lot. And um, then in my vlog last night, as you saw, one of the pom poms had rodent poo and pee, like it was almost still wet. I'm like, what the hey? There's no content label. In the 70s, it became law in Canada and the USA to put content labels on. And previous to that, for shearlings, anything that was shearling, that law was put in effect in Canada in the 30s to tag items that say that because of the import laws. They have to be tagged. So there's no content tag on these boots, like on the inside liner or, stamping or anything like that. So, uh, and even that little paper thing that was hooked up to it that said from Muckluck UK on the inside, it was saying this boot's made in Canada and it's made out of shearling and this, that, and the other. And so the seller copied all that and put it in the ad. Problem is, it was all fake. except for the rabbit fur appeared to be real, or whatever fur that is. It might be cat for all I know. Um, Kind of looked like that actually. Uh, and so that really shocking part where the pom pom had a lot of pee and poop from like a rat or something. That was pretty freaky. Um, but anyway, no content label. So I sent messages to the seller the day I got him, and I sent several about you know the stains and all that kind of thing, and the seller just kind of seemed nonchalant about it. Said they were sorry. Said like 3 or 4 times, just ship it back, ship it back. The problem with shipping it back is when the seller says no returns, then you have to pay to ship it back. And like those boots, that's going to be like $15, $16 in that box we're looking at right there out of my pocket. Then when they get it back, they'll deduct the shipping for the refund. So it's like, I mean, you're just losing all your money playing that game. But you can override it if you call eBay directly and say, look, here's the problem I'm having. And they will force that seller to take that return, and they'll force them to pay for it. And in this situation, I talked to eBay already about it, and that's why it's going back. In this situation, they're forcing the seller to pay for it all, return shipping, and full, complete refund to me. And I said, well, what if they don't? And they said, you just let us know. And so, other than the fact, I left a 500 letter uh, negative feedback for the seller before I called eBay in hopes that eBay would be open today. But if not, I wanted to get it in before I called eBay so it was already on record so they could read that as proof and see pictures that I uploaded. Um, and I just gave all the specifics like I'm giving now. Because, years ago you couldn't write like 100 words on a feedback. Now you can write, like it's 500 characters. Hey, hey, how you doing, Shadow Dogs? Good to see you. And so, anyway, I sent a bunch of messages to the seller, kind of short and sweet, on the day I got them the other day, and on the 23rd. And the seller was kind of nonchalant about it and kind of a bit obnoxious. And then they said, just ship them back. Well, they didn't offer me a label or to pay shipping. Thank you for the thumbs up. But, um, you know, uh, it was kind of shocking. Now, they did appreciate learning about don't put plastic over fur. And they said they were trying to protect them. Well, it's not protecting a lot when you take a grocery store plastic bag and cover half a boot. And these boots are white. If they rub against cardboard or anything else or each other, they get damaged. But the biggest problem is the fur. Don't suffocate real fur. And actually, this boot is real fur. Everything else is fake. So, I paid $114.10 for fakes, right? Hell no. Now, the Muckluck, Manitoba, Canada is a $300 boot. A boot that this looks just like, which I kind of thought it was, and it's not. It is absolutely not. And then I even looked at the vegan boots at Muckluck, Canada, and they don't make a boot that looks just like this in the fakes. And so, I'm certainly not paying 15 for return, having 15 deducted again when the seller gets it back. I'm not playing that game. So I called eBay today, and before 5. Usually they're open 7 days a week till 7 p.m. And sometimes on the holidays they don't have any reps, but oddly enough, Christmas Day they had a very nice rep. I didn't have to wait long at all, like 3 or 4 minutes. I didn't think they were going to answer. I thought it was going to hit their answering machine like it sometimes does and goes, "We have no associates available due to the holiday." But no, I got a rep. Talked with him. He was probably one of the better reps I've ever talked to. I've had like two ever in years and years with eBay. And this rep was really good. I explained to him everything. I told him to go read that feedback. And, you know, I, uh, he didn't put me on hold, which is odd because usually they always like to put you on hold. And they'll put you on hold for life like 4 times. And sometimes get disconnected. And then you have to call back and wait, you know? But no, didn't even put me on hold. And we went through this scene for about, oh, I don't know, 20 minutes. And they researched, the messages to the seller, that conversation. And they looked at the feedback, the pictures, and they were real concerned. And, you know, I said, they said, "What would you like to do?" I said, "Well, originally I thought, well, hell, I'll just clean them up and resell them and make a profit out of them. And because even if I put used and I get them cleaned up and sterilized, I could make, $150 off of them on eBay. But they're not real. They're not real leather or anything like that. I'm not messing with it. I can do great magic with leather, but not Faco stuff. You gotta be careful with that plastic stuff because you can't put a lot of things on it. It will speed the rotting of it. If you ever get what I call LL, it's leather look, fake leather clothes or anything like that, they rot really in short order. You'll take them out of a box or something, all of a sudden, all the stuff's flaking off, on them. And you just go, oh my gosh. They just don't do well. They don't last. They look real cute at first, easy to wash, quick to dry, but God, they just don't last. And so I don't want anything to do with that. Um, and then I liked some of the seller's other stuff. I was going to buy all these other boots because as soon as I sold, I bought his, then he only had one other listed. Then the next day he's listed like 9 of them. And I said, dude, I could come back and buy all these and flip them and make 100, each on them real quick. Problem is, after I got this boot, I want nothing to do with it. And he had a couple other things I wanted too. Had some Germax shampoo, and I wanted a couple of those. But I weighed the situation. I thought about it last night. I thought, if I give him a negative, more than big problem on this order, then I'm not gonna be able to do business with him because I won't be able to trust him because he might sabotage my stuff, or block me from buying. And I weighed it out, slept on it only a couple hours last night. I'm so tired. Thought about it. I said, it's not worth it. If I get another damaged item like this with rat poop and pee and all that stained up, it's just not worth all this trouble. I can't trust him. And these look like fakes from Shenzhen, China, like copies. And the biggest problem is shipping that through the United States Postal Service. That's a federal entity. That's a federal charge too to ship a fake through USPS. Whether you know it or not, or you're producing them and shipping them, um, it's no good. That's jail time. Um, so eBay worked out real good. They said that they would pay for the shipping back, and it comes from the seller. And they wanted me to wait 3 more days until the seller responded and offered up, a shipping label, which it's no returns. And I said, well, wait a minute, we got a problem because I don't want to pay to ship it back. I said, and I would like to see all my money back. because it's a bogus order. This should have never happened. So they agreed. eBay agreed, and they said, "We got a shipping label ready for you right now." I said, "Well, let me go look." Looked on the order and everything, and there was a shipping label. They had contacted the seller, told them to force return and no charge to me, and that label was up like jumping jack flash. So now all you had to do is print it. That was problematic. Print that label. Oh my gosh. It's the way they downloaded. It's all screwball, and it's man. I must have printed like 30. I could print a shipping label for anything in the world, but that stuff they download, and do it in seconds. Well, hey, storage shop, how you doing? So, anyway, um, uh, I, I took it to the post office because I tried to run the QR code through the postal machine because it's Christmas Day. Post office closed, but you can get in to use a post office that has one of those machines in it. I tried like hell, and they were out of paper in the machine. Sometimes it happens. So it couldn't print a shipping label to put on the box. And I brought the handful of shipping labels, like 20 of them or so. Tried to scan all of them to see if any of those would work at all. My God, how are you? And good to see you. And so none of those would work. They just didn't print good um, uh, from the download. So then I got back, and I didn't get to ship that package. I was so bummed because that would have been on the truck, on the tractor trailer, at like 2 in the morning. Be headed its way because the quicker it gets there, it goes back to the seller in Massachusetts, and the quicker it gets there, the quicker my refund comes. Okay. Now I told eBay, I said, what if he tries to come up with some bull crap or anything, or tries to deduct the shipping off of it or something? And they said, no way, no how. You get all your money back, and you're not paying for this shipping. I said, okay. I said, and if it happens, they said, contact us. I said, okay. And so, anyway, we'll see how it goes. So the shipping will probably take, um, if it's standard ground shipping, it'll take about a week to get to Massachusetts. If it's priority, which I imagine that I'm looking at, is probably ground shipping. Priority take about 3 days. Um, because I mean, the seller did ship pretty quick to me. They printed a label and they took it out the next day or two, and I got it real quick. But uh, and that's mostly because not far from Massachusetts right now. So anyway, I have to wait for them to get it back. Then they have to go on the app and answer to eBay that they got the item back and everything. And uh, then when eBay sees a tracking number and it's been returned to the seller, then they start initializing the refund. The only thing is, I got this using Klarna. I had just got this Klarna app, and I I got that financed because I wanted to get it like yesterday express because this seller only had that one white boot, and it was dirt cheap like that. 10 cents on the dollar, like the damn crack sale. I said, dude, if I can get some Manitoba mucklucks for $114.10, shipping, tax, and all, that's a screaming deal when they're $300 on the website. And it's brand new and never been worn and no box. And there's tags hanging all over it. Well, that's not what it was. It was just a fake. So we'll see how it goes. This ships out tomorrow and we're done. You know what I mean? So I just thought I'd let you know the update about the details. The only thing that's real on the boot is the rabbit fur or cat fur, whatever that is. It is a real fur pelt. So that's a fact. I just wanted to let you know the update, and I will see you in the next one. I hope you had a wonderful holiday today. And if you didn't, um, I still love you, and that's all that matters. Merry ho ho. And, life is precious. So every day you wake up, that's another blessing. And today, even if you didn't have one present and one person to call you and say Merry ho ho, you've got your life. And that's all that matters. I love you, and we'll see you in the next one. Be kind to a stranger. Love everybody. Too much of a good thing is wonderful, and we'll take a lot of that. Love you.